God says, stretch thy rod and divide the Red Sea. But when you come to Exodus 15 verse 8, the Bible says with a blast of his nostrils. Now, you blast your nostrils, what will happen? A scatter that will come out. But when God blasts his nostrils, a sea will divide. See, that's why most of us, we are mistaking God to be us. So when God is talking, we are interacting with him from our realm. That's why God can tell you the cancer is gone. You are looking at the size. Because you are operating with him from your realm. Don't reduce God to your realm, brothers. Don't reduce God to your realm, sisters. When God says you are blessed, you are checking for your whole family. Those who look like they are blessed, they bought a car. Who is talking car? A blessing is not a car. A blessing is the power to cause anything you touch to prosper. A car is a byproduct. A car is not a blessing, it's a byproduct. When God says you are blessed, even what people were doing and failing, when you start, it will work. Because blessing is power to prosper. That's what he's telling you. That's what the patriarchs knew. A man can look at his son and say, I bless you with the dew of heaven. What do you mean by that? Do you control weather? A man looks at his son and tells his son, I bless you with corn and wine. Are you an agriculturist? Where is your farm? He knows how God works. That when he talks, everything aligns. When he talks, everything obeys. Because when you blast your nose, nothing happens. But when God blasts, a Red Sea can part. If you know this thing about God, when God begins to talk, you see the big picture. Most times the reason we receive nothing is because when God is talking, we are seeing the small picture. The last fasting we just completed, 30 days. Some days I'm so busy and I'm about to come on set. I rush into the studio by 5 and I'm telling myself I'm tired. And many people are expecting a miracle. What do? And I go to God. Father, today, please let some people be healed. The other time God told me, when I said fast for 30 days, all the healings that would take place were already released. It's not this prayer. When I said it, all the breakthroughs were involved. When I said it, all the healings were involved. When I said it, all the miracles. I said, what? That means when I'm praying, I'm not praying to make it happen. I'm praying to become aware. I'm praying to become sure. I'm praying to be able to believe. I said, Lord, it is settled. I now go onto the set like a cherub. So when I'm talking, I said, today, this will happen. This will happen. It's because of what I now know. I now know something. And we saw growth dematerialize. We saw monies. The other day I told them one woman gave a testimony. I don't know if it was read. I was talking to them on the, I think 17th or 18th day. I said, before this month is over, you will conceive. You have been struggling with secondary infertility. And the woman testified on the 29th that she conceived. She went to do a pregnancy test and discovered she was pregnant. Why will you have that kind of audacity? Because God told me all the healings have already been released. All the miracles have already been released. When I said fast for 30 days, I'm not saying leave food. I'm actually saying step into another dimension. And so I knew that there was a shift. If God talks, see the bigger picture. That's what will take you from where you are to where you should be. Many don't understand the protocol of understanding for the supernatural life. Did you not read about Elijah? Elijah said, I see what looks like the feast of a man. Elijah interpreted it as abundance of rain. What makes what looks like the feast of a man an abundance of rain? Because the man knows how God works. Any sign you see is bigger than your realm. Is bigger than your realm. And so when you begin to see the testimonies, you now understand God better. Number one, you need to know how God operates. Most of us don't know how God operates. That's why we think God is a doctor. And when God tells you your heart is in order, you are hoping that God will follow the same protocol that a doctor follows. He's not a doctor. He is greater than a doctor. When God tells you you are blessed, you will prosper, you want him to be reduced to the textbook that you studied in Harvard. God is not an economist. He is greater than an economist. When he speaks, heaven and earth can pass away. His realm and your realm is both controlled by him. Your circumstance is too tiny. You magnified your circumstance and you reduced God because you don't know who he is. If you know the way he functions, imagine a boy that left Egypt, came to God, and God told him, go, tell Pharaoh, let my people go, that they may worship me. The question you ask is, Lord, are you not aware that I ran from Egypt? Okay, if you want me to go back, Egypt has the largest army in the world. Where is the soldiers you are sending with me? How do I confront Pharaoh? Where is the army? Go, tell Pharaoh, let my people go that they may serve me. That's all God said. And that word was enough to deliver more than 4 million people from captivity of 430 years. And then the same God says your cancer is healed. Your blindness is over. Deafness is over. And you are saying, but Lord, the doctor said, which doc who? Which doctor? It's not consistent with economic theory. Which economic theory? The one you discovered. I created the realms. I created the universe. I created the economy. Which law are you talking about? When I talk, I transcend the law. But you don't know how God works. The question is, even if I take Israel out of Egypt, how do you sustain over 4 million people? What's the economic system? How will they eat? How do I cook for them? And you are taking us to a promised land. We are going to walk through deserts. How about the wild animals? How about the other nations that will be threatened at our sojourn? What are you doing about them? He said when he led them, he suffered no man to do them harm. He gave a law in the spirit. Touch not my anointed. Do my prophets no harm. He suffered no man. So he constrained the nations. On their own, when they heard that Israel was coming, they were paralyzed. When they didn't have food, they told Moses, we want to eat. Moses was afraid for them. How can you be asking for this kind of thing? Who will cook for you? And when Moses went to God, please forgive them for asking for food. God said, shut up. Even you don't know me. Because Moses was afraid. He said, you are tempting God. How can you be asking God for food in the wilderness? If we don't ask for food, would we die here? And God said, relax. Tell them by this time in the evening, they will have more than enough. And to let them know that I am more than capable, they shouldn't store today's food for tomorrow. Every day there is enough. Hey. The Israelites were careful. They said, no, we are over 4 million. Anyone we have, let's store in case it doesn't come tomorrow. The Bible said, number one, manna began to fall in the field. Everybody ate as much as they could. And they hid some. When they came the next day, it was rotten. I have enough capacity to provide for you every day. That's God. They now came and said, we are tired of manna. We want meat. Moses said, go, God, don't kill these people. Please, they have tempted you. Father, please. God said, relax, relax. Tell them they will eat meat until meat will grow on their head. The Bible said God commanded the east wind. And some birds were going on their own journey. Suddenly the birds were flying. They were going south. But the more they flew, the more they discovered they were going east. And the wind carried them, brought them to the Israelite camp. Birds landed. They filled the field. Others landed on their head. Others landed. They came, no bird ran. They collected, killed and eat. And for 40 years, every day birds were coming. How many birds are created? And that God talks. You are analyzing. You are calculating. Your brain is too small, sir. Your brain is too small. The Bible said in Romans 15:4, it said the things that were written aforetime, it said they were written for our learning, so that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope. When God tells you I will feed your family, he has fed 4 million people in the wilderness before. How many are you in your family? You think food is what will discredit him? Food is too small a factor. And as if that is not enough, none of them was weak. None of them was feeble. He showed them that he was able. If you know God, the moment God speaks to you, you start celebrating. Because you know that the answer is must. You know that the answer is sure. He is too big. Every time God comes to talk to you, he condescends. He reduces himself. Your needs are too infinitesimal. He is living in an infinite realm. For God to talk to humanity, he condescends into a finite realm. The whole problem of man to put together is too small for God. Every time God speaks to you, just know that he condescended. It's just like your son. Maybe you have a child who is 2 years old. You tell him, whatever you want, I'll give you. He doesn't even have the brain to ask for real issues. So all the problem of humanity put together that we are thinking is big, in the realm of God is toy. It's just like you asking God, Daddy, give me toy. That's our whole problem put together. And we think it's big. If your son say, buy me a toy, he thinks it's big. You say, don't worry, you have your toy. That's not prayer. If you come and hug me, I want you to hug me. I prefer intimacy with you. If it's toy, leave toy. But in your brain, you think it's so big. That's why Jesus said we should have the faith of a child. When you come to your father, say anything. Say anything. You know what he said in Jeremiah 33 verse 3? He said, call upon me and we answer. And he didn't stop there. If he stopped there, that was good enough. You know why? That's a blank check. That means anything you want, ask, I will give you. But he didn't stop there. He now went further. He said, I will show you great and mighty things that you know not of. That means all that you are asking is nothing. The real great things, the real mighty things, you don't know it. He said, me now, without you asking, I will show you. That means I will show you what is bigger than what you asked. When you know God, every day you wake up, he said, this is my day of dominion. It's another day to spend from God's account. It's another day to live the abundant life. I decree over you, all your challenges will be swallowed tonight.